Hello, what is up guys? It's Evil Duo Storm here today, back with another Blade and Soul video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a question that was asked in one of my videos pertaining to the hongmoon point system, specifically the optimal distribution at a certain threshold. So to look at the question itself, the question asked, is it better to go 90-25 or 115-0 to maximize your DPS? So what the heck is that talking about? If you don't know what it's talking about, we're going to take a look. So press P on the keyboard to open up your character status menu, and on the right you're going to see the hongmoon points option. The hongmoon point system, basically every time you over level in Blade and Soul or hongmoon level, you get 5 points to distribute however you would like. And the question being asked is, should you put 90 points into the offensive stat, followed by 25 points into hongmoon focus, or should you put all 115 into the offense stat? Which got me thinking, well, what about all the other different breakpoints and different combinations that you can have? So if you navigate to the bonus effects option, the little magnifying glass, and scroll down the list, you'll see that we have different options at different thresholds depending on how many points into offense we put. They give us different rewards and different payouts as far as attack power and mystic damage goes. The hongmoon focus skill itself increases your boss attack power for 10 seconds and then has a 30-second cooldown. The value of this boss attack power increases as you put more hongmoon points into it, up to a maximum of 25. So what combinations of offense and hongmoon focus maximize your DPS at any given point? So to answer that, we're going to head over to one of my favorite tools, the spreadsheets, and we're going to go through and step you through this spreadsheet that basically shows you how to distribute your points depending on a whole bunch of different variables. So real quick, to cover the spreadsheet itself, in the bottom left corner of the spreadsheet, you're going to see the hongmoon focus and the effective AP. All this is taking the AP bonus that you get from the hongmoon focus stat, however many points you put in either 5, 10, 15, 20, or 25, dividing by 4 to get an effective AP over the course of the 40 seconds it's active. Obviously, depending on how much damage you do in the first 10 seconds compared to the last 30 seconds is going to sway the numbers a little bit, and I did go ahead and account for that. In a few seconds, we'll get into that. The rest of the table is just the attack bonuses that you get based on how many points you put into offense. So I really need to rename this to offense. And you'll see you get different AP and Mystic bonuses as you scroll down the list. I also calculated an equivalent Mystic percentage increase, even though it's not 100% accurate, it's close enough for these calculations. Across the top of the spreadsheet, you're going to see the recommended point distribution based on which hongmoon level you are or how many total points you have to distribute, since you can get hongmoon points without having to actually hit the hongmoon level with the addition of hongmoon scrolls. So if you just want to take the spreadsheet, look at it, and put whatever points you see based on your HM level or your total points that you have, you can download the spreadsheet. The link will be in the description below. Just navigate to the File option and click Make a Copy. Do not ask for permission to edit the spreadsheet. I get emails all of the time from people asking to edit the spreadsheet. Make your own copy, edit it yourself. Anyway, so the sections that you see in green correspond to a different threshold of AP point distribution that you can have. So if we navigate over to the character status menu, once again press P on the keyboard to get over here, and we click the bonus effects, you'll see we have the breakpoints at 10, 20, 80, 115, 125, and 135. And those same breakpoints are highlighted in green along the top. So the first thing I had to do was calculate this midsection here, because the 10 breakpoint and the 20 breakpoint are like no-brainers. You get like 200 AP from picking those two, or 150 AP, compared to the only like 50 that you would get equivalently by putting the points into the HM focus. So that's no-brainer. I'm not even going to think about it. So what about this midsection of the spreadsheet? What I did is I multiplied the difference in the increase of attack power to the increase in mystic damage that you get at each one of these levels, depending on how you distribute the points of hongmoon focus and the offense stat. So as you can see, increasing the hongmoon focus all the way up to 2000 AP is a lot stronger, almost twice as strong as putting the points into the offense stat. So through the entire midsection of this spreadsheet, or the entire midsection all the way from HM level 5 to 15, you're going to want to put those points into the focus stat first, followed by the offense stat. Our next breakpoint is at 80 HM points, which comes at HM level 16. And the next thing we're going to want to do is put all those points into the offense stat. So why are we putting everything into the offense stat? What I did is I went ahead and calculated, based on the tables that we see to the left, the equivalent AP, as well as the equivalent mystic damage increase, to create like an equivalent sort of percent increase to your overall damage. And you'll be able to see that the attack option, or increasing the offensive points, increases your overall percentage larger than if you were to put the points just into the focus stat. So at the 80 breakpoint, you're also going to want to do everything into the offense stat. And guess what? The same thing happens at 115, 125, and then 135 doesn't fit on the table. But same thing happens at 135. No matter what permutation or combination, you can see I tried 20 focus and 115 offense. Still comes out that putting everything into offense is better. So if you just want to take the spreadsheet and plug in the points all the way across the board, however you see them listed out here, go ahead. But then there's going to be the people that realize that you do more DPS at the start of your rotation, usually. So think of classes like the Gunslinger, the Fire Gunslinger that has all that burst front loaded. What if you did more damage in those first 10 seconds than you do in the last 30 seconds? So the tables in the middle of the spreadsheet go ahead and calculate the distribution and like an equivalent DPS. Basically, I factor out all of the different multipliers that you have from your weapons, soul shields, all that stuff, and just go ahead and give you like a base DPS number. Obviously, this base DPS number will scale tremendously with the added stats from those items. But if you did 25% more DPS in your first 10 seconds, which is what this middle table says, at 80 hongmoon points, you'll want to distribute everything into the offense stat. At 115 points, you'll want to distribute everything into the HM focus stat. You can see that you end up getting about 0.5% more DPS over the 1300 AP stat, and you still get like 0.1% more, even all the way up to 2000 AP. And then once you get back to 125 HM points to distribute, or HM level 25, you want to navigate those back over to the offense stat, 100% to the offense stat. When I say focus instead of offense, I mean 25 points into the focus stat, 25 points into the HM focus stat down here, and then the remainder of your points into offense. Obviously, not everybody's going to have all of those points put into the offensive stats. Some people want health regen, defense, depending on what content that you're doing and how much health you need for it. And if that's the case, just take however many HM points you have left and use the table that you see above to get your maximum increase, obviously applying these middle tables as well. So if you do 50% more of your damage in burst in the first 10 seconds, then you're going to want to put everything into focus for the 80 point distribution, the 115 point distribution, but the 125 point distribution, you'll want to put everything over into the offense stat, and you're actually going to get up to 0.5% DPS increase. The number increases the more that you have, or the more AP that you have. So then what about classes that are really super burst heavy, 75% more DPS in the first 10 seconds when compared to the last 30 seconds? And if we look at those types of classes, you're going to want to go focus all the way across the board, 80 points to distribute, 115 points to distribute. But once you get to 125 points to distribute, if you start getting crazy AP numbers like 2000 AP, you actually end up doing more damage by putting it over into the offense stat rather than the focus stat. So pretty interesting that there's different breakpoints depending on your AP and depending on your setup. But for the most part, putting your points into the offense stat will be a solid option for just about everybody who plays the game. Now, if you are playing a burst-heavy class, something that does 25, 50, or 75% more DPS, you're going to want to put those points into the focus option, as putting the points in the focus option really lets you take advantage of that burst. If you do less than 25% more damage in those first 10 seconds, then you're better off just keeping everything in the offense stat. How can you figure out how many points or how much damage you do in those first 10 seconds compared to the last 30? You can do a parse by heading into the F12 menu, entering the Hongmoon training room and fighting against the Sacred Lung Y. Just fight for like 10 seconds, write down the number that your DPS was up in the top, and then do that a couple times, and then parse for 40 seconds a couple times and just see what your DPS was start to finish. And you'll be able to see how much damage you do in the start versus the end. But beyond that, guys, that is basically it. So once again, the spreadsheet will be available. It'll be linked in the description below. You can click on it and do whatever you want with it. If you did like this video, if it helps you to decide how you're going to distribute your points on your character, please consider leaving a like and checking out some of the other videos on the channel. Also, make sure you're subscribed so you stay updated when new content comes out. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you at the next stream, video, wherever I happen to see you. Peace.